Ellen Sila Lumen, Omentilevo sneak peekers, Nanya Timo Nelson, Maestelquet Eldarin, Fo? Nai, I will speak the common tongue. For you, as you may have seen on delivery trucks and shipping packages everywhere, Amazon's $1 billion show, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, has finished airing its first of 5 seasons on Prime Video. So here I am, a humble messenger of the Valar, to give you my thoughts on what appears to be the next of many entries in the Tolkien Legendarium. Showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay have a lot of heavy lifting to do to fit the unwieldy lore of the Second Age into a modern TV narrative. For fans of The Lord of the Rings, like myself, it's great to dive back into the world of Middle-earth, but in a new time period and a broader setting than in the films. For new viewers, however, they might have a different experience watching this show. A name drop such as Isildur, or a phrase, the people of Numenor, or the Dark Lord Sauron, will have new viewers lost, or at least not understanding the significance of those names. Nevertheless, I believe the show is still enjoyable for the new viewer. It's a classic good versus evil scenario, which leads to a very entertaining conflict. As I said, the show takes place in the Second Age, many thousands of years before the events of Peter Jackson's movies. It covers the rise of evil, Sauron, in Middle-earth, as seen through the eyes of a varied cast of new and old characters. The elves are represented by Elrond and Galadriel, whom you might remember from the trilogy. While both characters have been recast to reflect their younger selves, I think Morfydd Clark not only looks but also feels like a younger and angrier and even more brash version of Galadriel. She has a lot of room to grow into the wise and powerful sorcerer that Frodo and the Fellowship meet 3,000 years from now. You see, elves in the Tolkienverse live forever unless killed in battle. But that doesn't mean everyone else is quite as old. We're introduced to Prince Durin, a dwarf whose friendship with Elrond is tested by the elf's longevity. And of course, any story set in Middle-earth wouldn't be complete without some short, hairy-footed, and good-natured Harfoots. These nomadic ancestors of the hobbits are quite lovable, if a little on the cheesy side, and provide some levity to the otherwise dark narrative. We're taking to many fantastical locations throughout the season, from the island kingdom of Numenor to the dwarven stronghold of Khazad-dûm to the Southlands, a human-inhabited area infested with orcs that sets the stage for the best action sequences of the season. We get not only a classic army v army skirmish, but a pretty ingenious castle defense sequence and a prison break scene with some truly awesome chain choreography. These fights are not only well designed, but also shot and edited. I can clearly tell what's going on the whole time, and it just makes it so much more intense. I don't think the show is perfect, however. With such a large cast and so many places to visit, some episodes left out certain storylines entirely, which has the effect of making some characters' development and progression feel uneven. The main plot has twists and turns that are predictable, and some characters' paths and outcomes never connect, creating this kind of unattached feeling. Like the books, the show was slow and at times spent plenty of time on side stories. One way to describe it would be a roller coaster that crawls up and up and up and then finally drops only in the 6th episode. Perhaps with a few more episodes, akin to House of the Dragon, those issues might have had time to sort themselves out. But that isn't to say I didn't have a good time getting to know these new faces before Mount Doom had its say. It's clear that Amazon spent a dragon's hoard of money on this show. Each episode cost around $60 million, and you can tell. I found myself in total awe at the truly spectacular CGI shots, both in CGI and in live action. If The Rings of Power doesn't win any awards for VFX, it would be a robbery. Just like when Morgoth stole the Cimmerals from Fëanor, right? Right? Okay. Even the color grading is far more vibrant than previous entries to the world, and I welcome that change. So, as the first season of 5, which Amazon is very committed to completing, I'm hopeful that we'll have another Lord of the Rings epic on our hands. There was quite a lot of setup in Season 1, but I believe it's going to be worth it. If you're new to Middle-earth and can't wait for more Rings of Power, though, you've got 6 movies waiting for you. Both the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies will make you appreciate the show a ton more. I think I'll be giving them a rewatch in the meantime as well. Let us know what you think about the Rings of Power at Sneak Peek TV. As we say in Rivendell, Namadi.